What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Sean O'Malley gets blasted for UFC treatment. After defeating Aljamain Sterling to capture UFC gold in 2023 and defending his title against Chito Vera earlier this year, Sean O'Malley is looking to pick up his second successful title defense at UFC 306. Leading up to the scrap, O'Malley's camp and Dvalishvili's camp have continued to take shots at one another, with Aljamain Sterling recently taking aim at the champ during an interview on Eric Nixick's Verse Us podcast. As Sterling alleged, the UFC has been giving O'Malley preferential treatment and easy matchups, using the short turnaround between his UFC 288 win over Henry Cejudo and his UFC 292 fight with O'Malley as an example. As he explained, quote, "I want to see the best of the best compete, no excuses. Now enter O'Malley. He fights one ranked guy, gets a title shot, split decision albeit, and this is not me hating, this is just calling a spade a spade. UFC wanted to give him the best opportunity that they could to become a world champion by hindering and stacking a deck against his opponent. It's like Jake Paul route, stacking the deck so you're getting highlights and favorable matchups." Aljamain Sterling went on to criticize Sean O'Malley's first title defense by saying,
"O'Malley could be a great champion, but for him to go on to fight the number 6 ranked guy in Cheeto and then put on a clinic, okay, great. But again, stacking the deck in favorable matchups for you to look and appear as you're him. He should have fought Marav first before fighting Cheeto, and Cheeto should have been able to fight someone and then win to prove he was deserving."
Sugar Sean O'Malley reacted to the video on X by saying, "I'm glad they gave me an easy fight to get the title." The MMA community was quick to weigh in, with one fan writing, "Blah blah blah, Sean went into that fight with a busted rib, wasn't able to grapple for weeks before the fight, and still stuffed Aljo's takedowns." Another wrote, "Guess Aljo forgot he was allowed to wrestle in their matchup. All this and crying for a year plus now, yet he was the one that let him do it." One fan weighed in, writing, "Not his fault you was champ and was an easy opponent for him. Maybe you should just get better, Aljo." On September 14th, Merab Dvalishvili will have a chance to avenge his teammate's loss and capture UFC gold when he and O'Malley share the octagon at the Vegas Sphere. Next up, let's take a look at Sean Strickland fires back at MGK for interview. During a power slap event at the Apex earlier this year, Sean Strickland went viral when he was seen on camera calling rapper and musician MGK a weirdo. At the time, Strickland followed up the run-in with a post on social media where he joked about nearly getting into a fight with a quote-unquote vampire. This week, during a recent episode of Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, MGK took aim at Strickland while revealing that at the time of their run-in earlier this year, he had no clue who Strickland was. During the podcast, he said, quote, "He's so dumb that I'm gonna tell him right now, you should not keep saying stuff because it just makes me look better. But you're going to keep saying stuff. So I know that you'll react and say more things, but you just shouldn't. As a person who's just giving you big bro advice, learn this. Shut the F up and don't speak on me anymore and live your life. But you won't, and I'm going to continue laughing at you because you're an effing." Strickland then responded on social media shortly after, writing, "Getting lectured by a guy who drinks blood and wears a purse. Dog, you had a midlife crisis and tattooed your entire body. The X community of intolerance, y'all. I'd hang out with you toxic trolls any day over this C. Go back to cutting yourself, you effing weirdo." So far, no response yet from MGK. Next up, let's take a look at Shavkat Rakhmonov reveals next UFC fight. Since Belal Muhammad captured UFC gold, there's been quite a bit of debate surrounding his next opponent. Following the victory, Muhammad revealed that he wants a fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov or Kamaru Usman for his first title defense. Of course, given that Usman is on a 3-fight skid, with 2 of those losses coming in welterweight bouts, many believe the title fight should go to Rakhmonov. During a recent interview with Submission Radio, the Nomad weighed in on the welterweight title picture while speaking through a translator, revealing that despite the lack of a clear-cut contender at welterweight, the UFC thinks he's the number 1 contender. As he explained, quote, "UFC thinks I'm the number 1 contender, and that I should be next because there's no clear contender anyway. I have 100% finishes always in the UFC, so I rightfully should be next. Everyone else is also very close, but I think they need 1 or a couple of wins to get this title shot, so I should be next. I'm actually ready at any time, so before the end of the year or whenever the UFC wants to organize this fight or whenever Belal is ready this year, early next year, I don't care. You know, I'm ready to win this belt and bring it back to Kazakhstan." Rakhmonov also notably shot down Kamaru Usman's case for a title shot amid his 3-fight skid, a sentiment many members of the MMA community have shared in recent weeks. With the undefeated contender ready to compete for UFC gold at the end of the year, and the champ interested in the fight, it sounds as though it's only a matter of time before a Magomed Rakhmonov fight is finalized. Next up, let's take a look at Magomed Ankalaev continues to go off on Alex Pereira for lie. After a title fight between Alex Pereira and Khalil Roundtree Jr. was announced, the champion alleged that Magomed Ankalaev didn't want to fight him. At the time, while speaking in a video for his YouTube channel, Pereira explained that he wasn't sure whether it was a matter of timing or something else that prevented a fight with Ankalaev from happening. However, what he did know was that regardless of the reason, Ankalaev turned down a potential fight. This week, in a post on social media, Ankalaev cleared the air on the situation, going off on Pereira for alleging that he turned down a fight. He wrote, quote, "Alex Pereira, can you please tell me which fight I did not accept to fight with you? I'm going to KO Rakic, and after I will expose you, especially your chin, because you have a weak one." Ankalaev's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, also weighed in on the situation, responding to a post with Pereira's quote about Ankalaev turning down a fight, writing, "I can tell you this is not true at all. I respect the man, but this is not what happened." In a follow-up, after Ankalaev took aim at Pereira, Abdelaziz made another post, writing, "Just to be clear, the UFC never offered a fight to Magomed Ankalaev against Alex Pereira. This is one thing I'm 100% certain about. So far, no response yet from Pereira. However, if he defeats Roundtree and Ankalaev defeats Rakic, a bout between the two is the logical fight to make." Next, let's take a look at Dustin Poirier fires back at Michael Chandler. There's certainly no love lost between Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler. In the wake of the pair's UFC 281 scrap, Poirier has continued to take shots at Chandler in interviews and on social media. This week, following Dan Hooker's win over Mattel's Gamrot in Perth at UFC 305, Chandler took to social media, hyping up his 2021 win over Hooker, who was fresh off a 25-minute war with Dustin Poirier, writing, "KO of the number 5 ranked guy who had just won 25 minutes with the number 2 ranked guy in a fight of the night, but I ain't done nothing." Poirier then responded, taking aim at Chandler with a scathing response, writing, "Shut up, I got wins over number 3, number 5, number 6, number 9, and number 12 lightweights." When a fan responded to Poirier, asking if he'd be interested in a fight with Nate Diaz for his farewell fight, Poirier simply wrote, "I'm down." Diaz, of course, is fresh off a boxing victory over Jorge Masvidal earlier this summer. While the Stockton superstar had previously said he wanted to return to the UFC down the line, there's been no serious talk of Diaz returning to the octagon as of late. Next, let's take a look at UFC updates. With the UFC off this week ahead of the upcoming Burns vs. Brady card next weekend, let's look at today's UFC fight updates, starting with a bantamweight bout between Brad Katona and Gene Matsumoto, set for the UFC Vegas 99 card on October 19th. The bout will see Katona look to build on a June victory over Jesse Butler. On the flip side, Matsumoto will look to extend his unbeaten record to 16-0 after winning his UFC debut in April. The following week, Miktabek Orobai and Mateusz Rebecki will throw down in a lightweight bout at UFC 308 that will see Orobai look to build on a 2-fight winning streak inside the octagon, while Rebecki looks to bounce back from a loss to Diego Ferreira back in May. The following month at UFC 309 on November 16th, Nikita Krylov and Azamat Murzakanov will compete in a light heavyweight bout that will see Krylov look to build on a 3-fight win streak, while on the flip side, Murzakanov will be looking to pick up his 5th straight victory inside the octagon while extending his unbeaten professional record to 15-0. Last but certainly not least, Tracy Cortez and Miranda Maverick are set to compete in a flyweight bout at UFC Fight Night Tampa on December 14th, as Cortez looks to bounce back from her first loss of her career, and on the flip side, Maverick looks to build on a 3-fight victory streak that recently saw her defeat Diana Barboza in July. Next up, let's take a look at Kamaru Usman goes off on the MMA community. As George St. Pierre likes to say, we stand on the shoulders of giants. The phrase is one that St. Pierre and others have used in the past when talking about the greatness of fighters who have come and gone. Despite the reverence many fighters have for those who came before them, some members of the MMA community are often quick to call fighters washed in the twilight years of their careers. During a recent appearance on Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy's Weighing In podcast, Kamaru Usman fired back at the MMA world, explaining, quote, "Now I'm in a place where, okay, with all of that comes a lot of injuries. All the things that you've been dealing with, it kind of catches up to you. And now I'm just in a position to where I'm trying to heal all of that. Because you stack up all these injuries over time and it starts to diminish your performance as to where people start to forget just how good you are, just how much time you spent building your career, doing the things that made you successful, to where they start to say, oh, he's washed. How disrespectful are MMA fans? How disrespectful are they? Oh, he's washed. Oh, he can't do this anymore. He's not that. The MMA community was quick to respond to the comments, with one fan writing, 3 losses in a row. Said himself Khamzat's aura got to him. Said himself he didn't let things go like he knows he could've. The confidence isn't there at the moment. He knows why people are saying what they're saying, but he wants another title shot. We know he doesn't beat Bilal right now. Another wrote, he was great, but he ain't the same fighter now. As one member of the MMA world joked, I get his point, but bro, your knee is more than washed. Retire. Another wrote, sadly, Usman, you're just not the same fighter as you used to be. We're not being disrespectful, we're telling you the truth. One fan referenced Usman's connection to Kadyrov, writing, I'm disrespectful of him because he's mates with the Chechen dictator Ramzan Kadyrov, but hey, if it makes him feel better, I'm happy to disrespect him because he's washed. So far, it's unclear when Usman will be back in action, or who his opponent will be. New details emerged on Paddy Pimblett getting kicked out and threatened at a Liverpool game.
Being kicked out of the match for celebrating. Now we've been kicked out of a boozer by stewards because it's a home boozer.
The hornet's nest, mate.
Watford, Ben Foster, I love you lad, but I hope Watford go down. You're horrible.
Ben Foster came out on a recent podcast and said that he had got Paddy the tickets to the event and revealed why he was kicked out. Here's what Ben had to say.
Paddy Pimblett, Paddy the Baddie. Oh my gosh, damn it. It was Liverpool versus Watford at Watford. Bad. I got him 4 tickets for the game, but and he's got to sit, they're Watford tickets at Watford, so he has to sit in amongst the Watford fans. So I said, Paddy, like, listen, I can get you 4 tickets, but mate, you've got to keep it on the down low, yeah? Don't go putting it in the internet. Don't go causing a fuss. Don't celebrate if Liverpool score or anything like that. Bearing in mind at the time, Liverpool were top of the league, popping. We were struggling. Every goal went in, he's jumping around, celebrating.
Well, goal goes in another minute later, 2-0 after 5 minutes. Jumps up again. Not going mental, but jumped up. Steward comes over, says, you're going to have to ask you to leave. He goes, you'll get if you stay in here doing that. So anyway, Paddy's come out of the ground, got kicked out, goes straight on Instagram. Yeah. Thanks, Fozzie lad, for the tickets. I love you, but Watford, you're a crap club and all this.
I hope you get relegated. That's what he said. You're a crap club and I hope you all get relegated. I went, oh yeah. Anyway, I got a week's fine for that. A week's wages, yeah.
Did you?
I got done a week's wages for that, yeah. Lovely.
Footage leaked of Khabib wrestling with Daniel Cormier. It looks like DC wasn't having a hard time at all with the former champ.
I'll never let you commit your brother. No chance. No chance. No chance. No chance. No way in hell. No way. No. I never get cut first. This is very defensive. Yeah. Look at this, brother. You can get off me like that. This is nothing. This is nothing. This is baby. This is baby offense. This is baby offense. Uh-oh. Now it's problem. Uh-oh. Now we understand top level.
Here's what some fans had to say. The 60-plus pound weight division isn't even a factor. DC over here lying down, relaxing and laughing, while Khabib is trying his hardest to sub him. And then DC sweeps him at the end, barely trying. John Jones would destroy Khabib's size parity. There's a reason Khabib never went up in weight. Top comments. The fact the tickets cost more than what most fighters are getting paid on the card is disgusting. While Dana White is giving Nelk Boys another fat stack of money for nothing. The guy is such a farce these days. Who wants to bet that Khamzat pulls out again? Who's in charge of the marketing for this fight? The worst I've ever seen. The prices are just ridiculous. $3,000 to $58,000 per ticket and $80 to watch it from home is exactly why we're all pirating your fights, Dana.